If you're just tuning in, the Green Bay Packers have signed Aaron Banks, the 35th ranked free agent. He is a guard, which will likely move Elton Jenkins over to center. And they have signed Nate Hobbs, who is listed as a slot corner nickel defender, so maybe that moves Keyshawn Nixon into Jair Alexander's spot. I'm unsure what exactly they'll do in the secondary, but they did need bodies there. But I would call these moves currently treading water, which is, look, it's a step up of where we were a half hour before the show. Because for a half hour before the show, it looked like Gute was going to try to fill all the holes on this team with rookies. And he was just going to try to set some sort of record of having the young. Hey, Gute likes him young, and he likes his roster young, and he likes his roster as young as possible. And so, he is trying to set a roster record of having the youngest roster in the NFL year in and year out. Cringe. So, speaking of cringe, I would like to point this out with Gute. Over the last 4 years, the Green Bay Packers have won one playoff game, have not won the division, and have had back-to-back 7 seeds, which is plenty of teams. My team would take that, happy with it. But Gute is acting like he is smarter or doesn't need to make moves to catch everyone, which to me, if I'm a Packer fan, would annoy the hell out of me, because right now this is a little bit like the Milwaukee Brewers.
Ooh.
Hey, we'll crank out a good regular season, except the Brewers win divisions. But we crank out a regular, we'll have an enjoyable regular season. We'll make the playoffs and we'll lose, but people like us. We're the Green Bay Packers.
People like me.
We got to enjoy every single regular season game. We got to drink our Coors Lights and have our tailgates and root for a team that has an outside shot at, hey, anything can happen sort of playoff run. And we'll call it a day and we'll start over again. And that seems how he's roster building again right now. It could all change if they go make a trade for Trey Hendrickson. That is a move of someone who I believe he said we need to have urgency this offseason. Mm-hmm. These moves make Gute a liar, because this is an urgency. Treading water is not urgency. Treading water is legitimately just staying put. Urgency would be like, we got sharks chasing their ass. We need to get to the shore.
If Hobbs plays every game, it's
not an urgency move. 46th ring.
If he plays every game, that's your criteria.
It's not treading water.
If he's a body on the field.
But it's not an improvement, though, because you're taking away Jair Alexander off your roster.
You're a 7-game guy, yeah.
Okay, but still, he is a Pro Bowl caliber player. When you're working through the addition and subtractions of a roster, if you have to, there's still at best, it's a mitigated move.
He was at one point the top paid quarterback in the league too.
Let
us not forget that.
I'm not trying to belittle.
Don't
how
polish
good
this turd of an offseason right now for Gute.
Jair Alexander is. I'm just saying, a guy that only plays 7 games, even if you guarantee those wins, that's only 7 games. You're 7-10. You're missing the playoffs. You're in the same boat you are now. If this guy can play more games, it's an improvement. Jim's calling it a wash. I'm like, if the guy plays,
he had 3 interceptions over 4 years. Jair had 2 in 7 games last year. This guy had 3 interceptions over 4 years.
Passes defended are good too.
13.
Xavier McKinney's just going to elevate him, right?
Yeah. Who knows?
Bring the whole team up with him.
Treading. Fine. You treaded water slightly towards the shore. The current is carrying you in a little bit.
I do think we're a little bit better off than we were when you have a guy who doesn't play football. In Jair Alexander.
That's insane. Look, you don't have to make everything seem nice. Right now they are. Would
I have liked a bigger move and something a little bit more impactful? 100%. But I think that there's still ways, and what Gute tends to do, and it's more history does not align with last year of making these big splash moves very often. We've done it twice since Gute's been GM since 2018. We've made splash moves twice in free agency. And I just think trying to win in the margins, where obviously he's trying to put his money and make it bread his butter his bread. This totally tracks for Gute, so I'm not super upset by it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering what Stockholm Syndrome is, that's it. You are held hostage by a GM, and
now I love the GM.
You're defending mid-move. So here's the question I wanted to ask. This is our Siding Unlimited poll question. It's a mid-move. It's literally the top 100 free agents. He's 46th.
Mr.
Well,
Mid.
I mean, there's more than 100.
Is he the Mr. Mid of general managers in the NFL?
Is he the Dak Prescott
Yeah.
of general
Well,
managers?
that's
that
not
our
bad.
question?
Because here's what we're getting at. What are your standards? If your standards are Super Bowls, Gute ain't getting it done. The team is treading water. One playoff win, back-to-back 7 seeds, and you had Aaron Rodgers for a couple of those. Like, that ain't it. You're title town. You are regressed from the end of the Aaron Rodgers era.
They didn't even make the playoffs at the end of the Aaron Rodgers era.
But the year
Yeah.
before, they lost their first playoff game
Yep.
to the 49ers.
Okay.
And so now the last 2 years of Aaron Rodgers, you did bupkis. You won 0 playoff games. You get Jordan Love. You have that nice feel-good season, which you overachieved what people thought you were going to do. But then, and you got more wins this year. But back to, are you keeping up with the Kardashians or the rest of the NFL? You got more wins, but you were still the 7 seed. And realistically, right now, people are picking. You're picking Washington and Philadelphia clearly over the pack. And things can change year to year, but nothing stopped them this year from signing one of these other players. The Lions went out and got DJ Reed. He's a clear starting corner. They lost their other corner because he cost too much money, but then they got a new corner, a younger player. I'm not asking Gute to go out and sign a bunch of olds.